Hi there. Welcome back to Direct Support. It's been quite a while. Not for any reason of your doing, just mine. I haven't made an episode of this in a really long time. It's been a while. I'm actually not even completely sure if I'm ready to be back doing this 100%, but I do know that our band has gone through a momentous occasion for Arms Akimbo. We released our first album, our debut record, which, you know, if you listen to the show, you're probably privy to the process and how we did it, but we're going to really dive in fully into what that process is, and that's why we're back. So we're doing a special, let's consider this a limited series. Let's go HBO with it. This is a limited series. It's going to be 4 episodes. We're going to break down track by track all of the songs on the whole album. So this is going to be the season 1 episode, and then come on back so you can check out season 2, season 3, and then a 4th episode about the videos. This was a lot of fun to make, and this is our first visual episode. This episode's going to be on YouTube, so if you're a direct support listener and you want to look at our cute little faces, head on over to YouTube to see that. And I know that a lot of people might be missing the original format of this show. And if that's the case, since I'm back doing this, I'm also going to include 2 bonus episodes in the coming weeks. I'll spoil it right now. So we'll have an episode with Mike Maines of Mike Maines and the Branches, and another episode with Motherfolk. Those are 2 episodes I recorded over a very long time ago, probably over a year ago. I'm really sorry to Mike and Bobby and Nathan, who all were on the show. Basically, Arms Akimbo was supposed to tour with each of these bands, and I was kind of sitting on the episodes hoping that we would be able to release them in promotion of those tours, and they kind of got lost in the shuffle, and we never got those shows back in the books. And also, I had to take a step back from this project, and I love doing this, but I don't know, it's a heavy lift, and I got some other things going on, and so it's nice to revisit this direct support space because I've gotten really positive feedback from those of you who do come check it out. And so for those of you subscribers who are going to see this pop up as a dormant occasion, either listen there or head over to YouTube and see it. But I really love you and I care about you, and I really appreciate the direct support. That was, maybe the cheekiest, worst way to get out of that. East LA, etc. is available on all platforms. So if you haven't listened to our album yet, definitely do that before you listen to the show. Pause the show. We just dropped the record on 11/11, and we wanted to celebrate it in all the ways we possibly can. And also, just yesterday, the music video for Holding On came out. That would be the finale of the entire record. So the album ends with the song Holding On, and we got a full-length music video for it. And then we talk about that too, but that is available on the YouTube page too, if you want to see that. All right, let's get into it. Without further ado, welcome back to Direct Support. This is our episode of the Season 1 breakdown of each of the songs on our record with my guests Matthew Sutton and Colin Boppell. Love those boys. Okay. The main thing that I was going to say is I think we should do our best to treat this like a free conversation, not like a performance, but just a conversation with each other. But I know that censorship could be a fear. So, but I don't want us to not say anything that we might want to use or not use or use parts of. Mm-hmm. Fucking A. Should we?
I'll take the glasses off. I might put them on.
I mean, the only thing you cannot be, if you're a guy who wears glasses inside, is insecure.
I know. I just don't want to come off like an asshole.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, we have headphones. It's fine. You don't.
I don't.
Okay, that was Shaken, basically, but acoustic. When did we decide that that's what we were gonna do?
It was pretty early into the concept, I think, because we came up with the concept in what early 20 mid 2020.
I don't know when, but it's because I was watching Ted Lasso, and there were subtitles, and it looked really good on Apple, and I thought, oh, we should do the TV thing, and then everything came from that.
Yeah, but I think that because I think I pitched the idea of Shaken for the Easter egg. Yeah. And then we came up with the idea, like, let's do 3 different genres. But it was pretty...
We tried some dumb shit that we were like, they could be colors or shapes.
Yeah. Play. It was going to be a play.
Yeah.
And then the TV show thing, I'm glad it ended that way. But yeah, I think... Because, I mean, the first thing that we thought was, like, how do we separate this stuff? I think that the chain of events was we wanted to do a concept record. We wanted to split it into 3 parts. We landed at a TV show. And then the first thing that we're like, well, theme songs, that's how we separate them.
Yes.
And then, that was like the chain of events.
Okay. Yeah. And then the only thing we had multiple versions of was Shaken. So originally we thought it was going to be like actually Shaken would be like the rock one.
Yeah.
And then we abandoned that eventually because it was too similar to what we did for season 2. So season 1 was the easiest one. That was all in the closet at the last house that we lived at. Are your vocals on that? Were you gone already when we did that?
Yes, I think by the time we did
the only thing you were
the interludes, I was not there.
Like It Takes might have been the only thing you were here for at the beginning. Like all the bass, obviously, but then It Takes.
In terms of vocals?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much all the vocal stuff that I'm in on the record was
season 3.
Was or we just put it in after I got back.
Yeah. I think it was, wait, where did we do that?
Because a lot of the beginning of the record is all you vocally.
Yeah. That was weird. And then also like when me and Matt finished this and I played banjo and mandolin on it. Okay, so we sucked at the beginning of this record at producing. Like sucked.
We had no idea what we were doing.
And we just did it anyway.
Yeah.
Which we talked about before we started doing the record. When we sat down at like the end of 2020. We're like, we can try this ourselves.
I think that was such a huge part of making the record, though, was that sense of we'd been sitting on our asses for months because of COVID, and we just wanted to make. We just wanted to go and to start, putting stuff down.
Also, we had baby boy mentality. Like, literally, I was so scared to do anything ourselves past demo stage. Because for so long, it was like, oh, yeah, we'll just give it to Steven Gomez, if you're
Shout
looking
out
for a
to the homie.
producer, to do everything for us. And then Brian and whoever. But, like, I feel like that was, I don't know, it's really weird to me when, like, fundamental stuff to 18-year-olds right now, like, just do it yourself, was foreign to us because we were past that prime, and the people that we were looking up to were, like, Manchester Orchestra and Local Natives, like, all these bands who did shit in studios,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that, too, it was, like, we had no clue what we were doing in college, and we just worked so well with Steven. Shout out Steven Gomez.
We should have, though. We all studied.
and that, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't.
Yeah, but you still took a class. Like, we all had enough skill as anybody who's just learning how to do it and, like, putting songs out on TikTok.
Yeah, but, I mean, it just, like, wasn't the thing that you did. And then we were so stuck in our own ways that we're like, well, we can't do this anymore because of COVID, so fuck it, let's do it ourselves.
I think that's, like, super important. Like, there's fake gates that people think are, like, gate kept. It's like, no, this, you can just turn your bedroom into a green screen room.
Yeah. I mean, like, even if we think it, and specifically about, like, the season 3 stuff, like,
sure,
that was when there's, like, such, for everybody who listens to the record, like, you literally hear the progression of us, like, figuring our shit out. And then by the time we get to season 3, like, we had so many friends help us along the way, but it's like, when you get to season 3, I think the quality is awesome, and we're like, okay, we can do it 100% ourselves, and then, but we're not mixing engineers, so, like, we'll get it mixed, but, like, we'll record it ourselves, we'll arrange it ourselves, we'll, like, do it basically get it there, and then have somebody, like, polish it at the end. But
yeah, I have thoughts on that that I can share when we get to season 3.
Yeah.
I think that's enough on the intro.
Yeah.
Hi, we're Arms Akimbo. What are we doing?
Talking about our songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about our songs. We're talking about the process of the past few years, which is like, this is our Bo Burnham's inside. It's such a bummer.
But so much worse.
So much worse.
And took way longer to actually get out.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, God.
it is, though. I mean, fuck.
It is. 3 times as many people, 3 times as long.
Takes a man to make a mess. What if I'm alone, running on empty in distress? It takes a boy to ask for help. What if I'm amazed when I can't do this by myself? Come back, I've had enough. Too bad. The answer's I'm sorry. Hold back. Are you man enough? Stop that. Are you out of love? Great.
Nice.
Nice. I still think, even though it's like the first, I feel like that is amongst the most honest of all the songs on the album. Like, it's, for me, maybe lyrically, it's like really bare, kind of naked, you know? And it's like our mutual friend Scout relates the most with that song. And I'm like, that's great. That makes me happy. That makes a lot of sense to me because me and Scout generally relate on emotional things, you know? And I'm happy that the album starts with that song, even though it's obviously such a weird like progression of an album. But yeah, I feel like it's brutally honest and not that like tough to listen to for an honest song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That might be my favorite music video experience.
Shooting it?
Shooting that music video on the rocks.
Really?
Yeah. That's like, I don't know why, but that's when I hear that song, that's what I think of all the time.
Actually, okay, it is the most like visually tied to the experience. Like definitely the other songs you can listen to it and you can separate it from the video.
Like when I
That's a
hear
good
that
point.
song, I'll always just think of making that music video.
Same. That's true. I do too.
Mine's a mixture of that. I agree. That was like one of the best music video experiences. Just such a good crew and day and everything. I think about that, and I think about doing the toms in my bathroom.
Okay, when I heard the click, I was gonna save this for season 3, but the one thing that I'm still dealing with of us recording stuff on our own is when it's a loud thing, I can hear how cheap our rooms are.
Yeah.
I can hear how not soundproof. So when I hear the rim clicks, I hear the bathroom.
Totally.
You can hear the reverb of the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that is the cheapest sounding thing on the album, but it's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's just
fine.
for me. I'm like, oh, I remember what it sounded like when you clap in those rooms.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Just like really bad, harsh, short reverb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all metallic.
Yeah.
That's how this place sounds,
Yeah.
and that's how the vocals sound on season 3.
Yeah.
Like when you crank it up,
Yeah.
but you just go, okay, that's the vibe. That's where they were.
But
matter.
also, anybody watching this probably won't even notice after we specifically tell them that,
Yeah.
and they listen back to it. It's just because we know.
No, I'm just saying it to you guys.
Yeah. No. I
I'm
know.
also remembering when you talk about that shoot, I think about him playing Toxic at 7 a.m.
Oh, man.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Just the worst vibe
That's the best
of
way to
all time.
Best way to wake up. God.
Dude. And then the
Yeah, that was
freaking
7 in the morning.
rap song that the guys fishing next to us were playing.
God, what song was
The
that?
devil one.
Oh, that's
The 9-minute
right.
devil
That
song.
was bad.
What's that song called?
I forget.
Dancing with the Devil?
Think
Yeah,
that's right.
I
Something
think
like
so.
that. The really sad song
Yeah.
that everyone knows just because they're like, hey, check out the
Hey, check out this
saddest rap
super-
song.
If you
Was-
had to choose 7 a.m. that song or Toxic,
We didn't get to choose. We had to do them both.
if you had
One in
to
each year,
run it
baby.
back,
One in each year.
you had-
Toxic a million times over. I would rather deal with. That's the other thing too is like who it's coming from. Like I can't tell this fisherman to stop playing
Yeah.
that song, but I can be like, "Are you seriously playing Toxic right now?"
I'd do it all over again. You brought the mood up.
I like the way it's. I think the way that it is recorded and the way that it does sound is perfect for, like what you were saying about how it's very honest and it's very naked. Because that does, I think you can hear that aspect of it in the actual production of the song. Because there's not a whole lot of bells and whistles to it. And it just makes it, I don't know, it feels like it already has that sense of familiarity as you start the album to me.
And also, I don't know if I've traced this, but I do think that Matt recorded a live snare in that bathroom initially, which is how we did the rim clicks, and then you started doing snare hits at some point because you get bored if you play the same thing for too long, as we know from your sound check. So you just started hitting the snare halfway through. I think that's literally why we go to the snare in the song, and that's why the fill is because you didn't have any other drums to go to, so you just had to come up with something cool on a snare.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. And
Like,
it was
the
like
restriction
it
of
was literally
one drum.
and I think it was a fuck up. I think it like slipped out of my hand, so we redid it just to go digga 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 and like
Oh right, you
crescendo.
miss it.
Yeah, I missed it, and then I redid it, and I was like, it kind of sounds cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Missed.
And
Yeah.
then so when we went and recorded the actual drums with Derek, you matched it,
Yeah.
which is
yeah,
awesome because it wouldn't have happened
totally.
literally if you didn't get bored because you were just supposed to do rim clicks.
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
No, I mean that in a positive.
No, I know. I think it's too like that song starting the album with that song, it's like such a different song. Like it's I can't like pick apart anything like what influenced that song. It's like
Kevin
this,
Derek,
like, yeah, Kevin Derek for sure.
Field Medic, and Derek Ted.
Yeah. But I mean just like it has our own spin on it so because it's like so much more hi-fi than like what they would do, but it's like I guess taking that nugget of theirs and like
The nugget
Putting-
being the drum loop.
the drum loop. It's just so weird to like for us to start a record like that because like everything else has been like big open, big rocky, and then like oh here's one folk song with all this other rock stuff, and we're like no, we're gonna put like this weird DIY folk lo-fi thing at the top.
But it doesn't go straight into the rock stuff.
No.
We sit in that folk pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am hard pressed to think of any other projects that sound like this, that do this,
I can't.
which is like why we did it.
None. We created a brand new thing that's never sounded like anything else before.
Humbly, we did so.
Yeah.
So humbly.
That's why it's like
I really like it.
I don't know about you guys, but it's like a really weird listening experience when I go back and listen to it. Like I really, really like it, but I almost don't even know how to feel because it flows so different than like any other album.
I hope that people who listen to us would go, I'm in the mood for this section, and they would just listen to the 3 folk songs, or I'm in the mood for this section, and they would just like go to the gym and like hype themselves up to the rock section. Like I would like that. That to me sounds like a cool way to approach it, which is why even though we're like putting the record out, we'll also have the playlists of just the seasons.
Yeah,
Because I think that's how I would want to visit something like this, you know?
totally.
Or whatever, if you end up having like a favorite of each section, you just like cherry pick.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything to comment on the instrumentation. I think the only thing was how lost I was with the guitar part, so it ended up being really repetitive and just matching the vocals. And we were at a place of feeling like everything that we have put out so far was always so hell-bent on filling every crevice of space, and everybody had like a moment where they were always trying to solo, or everybody was always trying to do as much as they could. So the fact that it's like this chorus is going to happen a lot and this guitar part is going to match the vocal feels appropriate for that mood that we were in of like it's like this is the melody. Just listen to the melody.
Yeah,
these
let
lyrics.
it
Just listen.
breathe.
Yeah,
Let it breathe. Not everybody's trying to like. It's like we had too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
A lot of times we
I think-
kind of shot ourselves in the foot of like, no one's singing, guitar lick.
yeah.
Like no one's singing. I'm gonna try and do the craziest drum fill that I can.
I don't miss it. Sometimes I feel like we've done like our best to strip so much away that it's like, are we taking too much out now?
I think that we find the sweet spot. Like the first part of the record is so stripped down, and then we start as we like learn how to do things better ourselves.
Yeah.
I think like, I don't know. I don't think I miss it because we're like, we get to sit behind the producer's desk and like A/B stuff and take more time, and like I think that that's why it came out this way. Like it's supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
We could have put more in if we wanted to, but like we actually took the time on this record to like sit down and like just let these songs breathe for a while and like not overthink it.
Yeah.
If we would have tried to do we'd be halfway through the recording process if we worked the way that we used to for this record.
I don't know if that's true. I do think that we like did the stuff in a succinct way. I just don't think we were great about like taking stuff out. I do think we spent, if we were going to be behind, it would be because we were like arguing about what to cut or not.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like, do you remember Waves? And it was like the piano part and the guitar lead at the end of that song. We're like, how many? And that took us so long to just decide what to cut, and we ended up just doing like octaves.
Yeah.
And it sounded good. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
This is good time.
I'm waiting for a good time, honey. I don't wanna bring it up when you feel bad. It's hard to break your heart at all when you've been laughing. It's harder just to speak to you when you feel sad. All we want, the same response. Another loss, my love. Stop pushing back. Stop pushing back. Stop pushing back. You're all I had.
Okay, wait, I do think that for a song like that, the first place to start is with credits, and maybe we should do this for every song.
Yeah.
Is like additional credits on that song are pretty huge. So Noah Weinman, aka Runner, did the trumpet. Aaron Jorgensen played mandolin on that song, recorded by Lucas Starbuck. Rebecca Augustine. No, she did not play violin on that song. Scratch that one. Drums were recorded by Derek Ted. Guitar and vocals were recorded by us. And it was mixed and mastered by Nico Soteris. Is that everybody?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit is exactly what I like, actually. I love that song. I think it's going to be hard to figure out how to ever do it live, but I love that song.
Yeah, my God. We need like 8 people on stage to actually recreate that without tracks.
It's such a weird start to the album, listening
It's
to
insane.
these 2 songs. It's actually wild that these are the first 2 songs on the record.
It's like a completely different band. Like
It's-
if you like coming into this album, if you hadn't like followed with our single rollout, if you went from like the Arms Akimbo self-titled EP
Right.
to like, oh, I'm going to put this record on, I'd be like, what the hell?
You basically would this album would only make sense to you at the beginning if the only songs you heard were Rearrange and Devil.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it.
Totally. And they're like, oh, they're kind of going for this like Whitney vibe
Yeah.
almost. And then you get into the next season, you're like, what is happening?
I did post the story of the lyrics of this song, which is pretty nuts, but it like I was in Guatemala. It was when my grandma died, and I have a guitar. I have like a beater guitar down there that like won't stay in tune for longer than 2 minutes, and I write on that like when I'm there, because like when I'm vacationing to see my family down there, it's like it's way slower than here. So I'm just sitting around all day long, and I have so much time to write. And I came up with this song, and it like flowed out of me in like 10 minutes, and I have like the original voice memo somewhere. But I was in a relationship, I thought happily, and complete like the song came out. I was like, I wonder what that's about. And then I got dumped. And then I listened to it, and it was clearly like me writing from her perspective, like secretly knowing that she probably wasn't happy at that point.
Like subconsciously
knowing, and it just came out.
Yeah.
And it just made a bunch of sense 2 weeks later.
Sure.
We're since back together and like very happy and have worked all that stuff out. This was a long time ago. But yeah, this is a pretty raw start to an album, dude.
Yeah.
Very much.
Depressing
Yeah.
folk songs.
I remember the first time I heard Good Time Honey was we were in the car, you and I. We were on the 405. I don't know where we were going. Sorry. But you played that voice memo, the original voice memo. And it was, I get that feeling every so often when I hear your songs of like every once in a while it just instantly grabs me, and that was one of the ones on this record where from the first time I heard it I was like, yeah, I really like that song. I don't remember. It just like every once in a while it just it just strikes that chord, and it feels, you can feel the honesty, and you can feel that there's something behind it, there's something that it's rooted in, which is sort of feeding it in terms of like a well of creativity that you can go back on, and that feels very in touch with that creative source. The song does.
I do. I appreciate that, and I also think that song is like embarrassingly pedestrian if you analyze that. Like, okay, the song starts with me rhyming sad with bad. Like that is literally like songwriting 101 for like a child, and it's like I like it. I would never let myself do that, I thought.
Yeah.
And then, but it's like no, it's like it's bad and sad. It's just like how it just, it had to be that simple at first.
Yeah, the whole thing has like almost like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
Kind of like even the original guitar lick is you get that sort of head bob kind of feel to it. So it's not, there's definitely that none of that song tries to be more than it is.
Yeah, it's really easy to digest, which is why I think like the hard, and even for the first two songs and just like a lot of our like heavy content stuff, it's like the way it's delivered is so digestible.
I need to make an adjustment. I realized that I said that Nico mixed and mastered it, but Derek mixed it and Nico mastered it. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's okay.
That's killing me.
That's
like,
okay.
Oh no. Yeah, I agree. It is digestible. And then musically, so there's two things I like. Maybe we can talk about the motif in a second. But the other thing I like is the way. Remember how long we spent chopping up the trumpet?
Oh my God, yeah.
And the guitar solo, so they would trade off.
Yeah.
Because it's not like 8 bars. It's not long. It's like half a bar. It's like very short.
Yeah, it's
but we
a
trade
quick trade. Yeah. I mean, we pitched
the trumpet and stuff.
What?
Remember we even pitched the trumpet. Like we did a bunch of stuff to make it fit.
We took what Noah did. Shout out Noah. Killed the trumpet part. He came over and did it in like 30 minutes basically.
Yeah.
Like he just banged it out, and then we had all these stems, and Pete, you and I just sat and we're like, okay, how do we chop this up and find the cool shit and like make a part out of it? But yeah, we're like, oh, wouldn't it have been cool if it went up a third instead? Then we just snip it, pitch it. We spent so much time on that. Yeah.
Another thing is this is the second time that that interval appears. Too, so there's the season 1 thing, and then it happens on the slide and the trumpet in this song, which is the main motif of the album. I do think it came out of a joke that's all I do when I'm like riffing. I naturally just do.
Yeah, Seven Mirrors has it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been happening since Shaken and Seven Mirrors, which is literally like 2015. So it's like a natural, and we're just like, why don't we just lean into it so we can bury it?
Yeah.
it's gone.
And it's also kind of cool. Like the first album has callbacks to the first song that we ever did as a band.
Yeah.
So just package those two together, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, and while we were making this record and we decided that, I will say that Dayglow had a motif on his record Harmony House that was all over it. And so when I was kind of insecure about doing it over and over again, I did get to like listen to what became my like top 3 favorite albums of the year. And it was like empowering. I was like, oh, this guy did it too. And it's cool. And his is great. He goes, da-na-na-na, 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 da-na-na-na.
Is that all over that album?
All over.
Really?
Like all, yeah. It's like, and so while I was like kind of self-conscious about doing one of those,
Yeah.
I was like, oh wait, this record does it too. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
That's nice too.
Yeah, I think it's nice. Do you guys have anything on this?
No, I think
Okay.
that we're good. I think we can keep going.
Oh, how could I forget again? I knew you were coming over, but I forgot to make my bed. Saw you on the front line, where you left me for dead
I'm really proud of that song.
That's like one of like top 3 favorite songs that we've ever done. I think.
I do think it's worth disclaiming that we really like our own music before we sound like egotistical or anything. Like, I'm glad we made this album. I
Yeah,
like a
me
lot
too.
of the songs on my own.
Me too, man.
Credits. That song was produced
Starbuck.
by Starbuck, Lucas Starbuck. Basically, okay, us. This is like a pretty much like a very heavy collaboration with Starbuck. And Rebecca Augustine played violin on that song, and Aaron played mandolin again on that song. And a lot of the production was Matt and Lucas together. A lot of the drum stuff was you. Like, you came, we did a session together, and then we came with a lot of it. And then Starbuck, all the synth work and stuff is him.
Yeah, he kind of replaced or layered on top of like every synth that I did. Like, maybe let's talk. I think the production on this one's like super interesting. So
Yeah,
we
I think
talk
maybe
about a lot of that.
Before, I mean, the song has a storied history.
Totally.
Wrote it in 2018.
I was going to say, you wrote it a long time ago.
Yeah.
It had been in and around contention for years before we ever pulled the trigger on it.
I think it got cut from $7 Paycheck. Like, that's where.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We
Right?
couldn't figure it out full band.
Right.
We just couldn't.
It
do
didn't work.
Yeah.
And at that time, if it didn't work full band,
was
it
done.
didn't work because we
Yeah.
didn't really have an expanded skill set yet.
We didn't work on laptops.
We had never really tried anything other than just how it sounds full band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was hard because I knew it would be good, but I never liked. None of us liked it really when we tried it together. Like, it didn't make any sense, and it was too patient or something.
It just never quite clicked.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it's to get it to go where it goes on the record, it has to be so many different layers. Like we were talking at the beginning, like, oh, we like simplified everything. And I think it's very simple.
It is, yeah.
When the output of it is simple, but the input, it's like 160 tracks or something. Like, it's so, there are like 10 snares on that thing. Like, it took Starbuck and I like 3 weeks to agree on like the blend of the snares that we're gonna have on it. But like, going back to the full band thing, it's like we never could have like figured that out because it took so many layers to make the simple the simplicity of the song feel big and powerful and interesting.
And the irony is that we just played it live and it went amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like now we can do it live, and obviously you're on a sample pad. Like it's completely different, but
Yeah.
it worked really well.
Totally.
Okay, you got to talk about the production because I really have no. I mean, I played guitar and sang. Like,
yeah.
Did I do anything on this song?
I don't think you're on the
I
song.
don't think so.
All right, see you guys.
I mean, it's just synth bass. There's no bass
it's a
plucking or
sub.
anything.
No harmonies or
There's no
anything,
harmonies.
really.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's and we made
There's
that,
more pre-delay than reason to play
yeah,
bass.
Yeah. Yeah, basically
That was the problem, right? That's why it took so long for us to make this song, because I just don't fit on it.
No comment because I would have to cut it from this.
Oh god. Yeah, the production. Maybe let's just talk about that I can give like a summary of it.
Do you want me
Basically,
to proctor you?
huh?
No.
No. Well, let's talk about how it started. Like when we decided that we were going to do the folk stuff, we're like, you really wanted to revive this one and put it on the record. And
Yeah.
we went into when we were living together, you came into my room and we were like, okay, let's figure out, like, let's look at it. Let's open up a blank session, record the acoustic guitar part, and then like try and just like build it to make it this like crescendo that just goes like this the whole time. The dynamics just grow and grow. There's no like up and down and make the second verse quiet and like the normal structure that we do. So we just like,
Which is like one of our favorite type. Like we like Bon Iver, so that is one of all of our favorite types of songs.
totally. And we just never done it, and
Yeah.
we never tried to figure it out. And we're like, we're gonna make this work. And we got your acoustic, we got your scratch tracks, and I just sat there trying to find the right drum sounds, and then like plugging in the chords because I can't play keyboards, and just like plugging them into like Omnisphere and Alchemy and like all these different contact instruments, just like trying to find the right layers. It was so much about finding the right sound for that song to like make it build right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I probably got it like 70% of the way there. And then we're like, Starbuck is down to work with us. And then we took it to him after that.
Yeah,
like,
I think that one of the benefits is like, okay, so there's stuff where it's like he's like, okay, I'm going to do something on the DX7, now I'm going to do something on the Juno, and it ends up being like this song is 3 chords the whole time, and so it's like half the time that is just him playing the same 3 chords each time. But the other half of the time that's me going, the other thing that he did as a producer was like, I would say, all right, I'm ready to retrack the vocals. I was flat, my timing was off, and he's like refused, like we used the scratch vocals.
yeah.
And he refused to retract them, and basically said like the only thing that happens when I show the song to people is they say like the vocals are really good.
Yeah.
And I think that goes to like the passion of like me being really adamant to wanting a song on the record, which like kind of alludes to like you kind of like both of you actually really pushing Overjoyed when I didn't necessarily like love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when the passion is there from somebody, you just got to listen to them, get out of the way, and like at least see it through.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was cool that Starbuck was like, well, I'll just make you not flat. Like that's what technology's for.
Yeah.
And then it'll sound good for that one moment that you're scared about, but we need the emotion of this take.
Yeah. And and that's also why we didn't put harmonies on it. We intentionally were like, we could put harmonies on this in like 20 minutes. But I remember you were like, let's do it. And I was like, it sounds so good the way that you delivered the scratch. Let's just tune it a little bit, edit it a little bit, and like put it through a vocal chain, and it'll be good.
Yeah, so it ends up being like, if we're
Makes
gonna
you
hire
focus
somebody,
on
if we're gonna
the
hire
lyrics.
somebody to play violin, we shouldn't put a bunch of vocals on this song when we do that on every other song.
Yeah, and it just makes you really listen to the, like, you're not like,
Yeah,
oh wow, those are
story.
pretty vocals. You're like, what's he saying?
Yeah,
You know, I think that worked out really well, and then the production was just to keep it interesting, keep like the listener interesting.
right,
People like me who don't know lyrics to some of their favorite songs.
right. I also will add that the spoken word at the beginning of the song is a bunch of excerpts from my favorite poem, which is Love Song for Alfred J. Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. And I took a bunch of lines out of that, and I just did them spoken word in the intro.
It sounds cool.
If you're a poetry person, that is like one of the most basic poems I could have said.
That was like a song exploder episode.
That was.
Yeah.
We did it.
Wow.
Just as we were figuring out how to make the record, we're figuring out how to talk about it.
And now we have to change. Okay, and I will say that there was an effort to have synthetic drums and synth and stuff because this being the last of the folk songs, the last of the depressing folk songs, and heading into the pop section.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Season 1 in the books. I hope that was as much fun for you as it was for all of us doing it. If you're watching on the YouTube, go ahead and comment your favorite song from the record. I'm just curious. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I hope those visual bits, us playing the videos, came through properly. If it didn't, you can see all that on the YouTube. And if you are there, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple. That's the amount of stars we want. Keep getting the word out on this project, on this podcast. See you back here next week for season 2. And I love you. And I hope everybody outside isn't being too loud. If I'm honest, this is my 3rd time recording the outro because of cars and motorcycles and leaf blowers. Bye-bye.